Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, devotees and Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Pawan Prabhuji, Vishwanath Prabhu, for leading the chanting. Welcome back. Good to see you, Vishwanath Prabhu, Sima Mataji, Shashiyanti. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Okay, so we'll start with Mangalacharan and then we'll continue with our prayer of the week and Prabhupada Lilamrit. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvatamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so we are continuing with our prayer this week with the little Krishna who has appeared as Balamukunda. So we are singing the Balamukunda Ashtakam by Srila Bilamangal Thakur. So let me, I posted the link in the chat. We'll continue with that. Okay, hopefully everybody is able to see the screen share. So we'll continue to recite this whole week and we'll read the translations. Kararavindeन padarvindam mukharvinde viniveshayantam vatasya patrasya puteshayanam balam mukundam manasa smarami samhrutya lokan vatapatra madhye shayana madhyantavihina rupam सर्वेश्वरं सर्वहितावतारं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि इन्दीवरश्यामलकोमलाङ्गम् इन्द्रादिदेवार्चितपादपद्मं सन्तानकल्पद्रुममाश्रितानां बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि लम्बालकं लम्बितहारयष्टिं शृङ्गारलीलाङ्कितदन्तपङ्क्तिं बिम्बाधरं चारुविशालनेत्रं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि शिक्ये निधायापि पयोदधीनि बहिर्गताय व्रजनायिकायां भुक्त्वा यथेष्टं कपटेन शुक्तं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि कालीजलस्थितकालीयस्य फणाग्ररङ्गे नट न प्रियन्तं तत्पृच्छहस्तं शरदीन्दुवक्त्रं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि उलूखले बद्धमुदारशौर्यम् उत्तुङ्गयुग्मार्जुनभङ्गलीलाम् उत्फुल्लपद्मायतचारुनेत्रं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि आलोक्य मातुमुखमादरेण स्तन्यं पिबन्तं सरसीरुहाक्षं सच्चिन्मयं देवमनन्तरूपं बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि हरे कृष्णा Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. श्री बाल मुकुंदम अष्टकम की जय, श्री बिल्वमंगल ठाकुर की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. Okay, anybody would like to read the translation?
I want to read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Translation. I meditate on that infant Mukunda Krishna who is sleeping on the leaf of a banyan tree with his lotus-like foot placed in his lotus-like mouth with his lotus-like hand. I meditate on that infant Mukunda who is sleeping holding all the worlds together on the leaf of a banyan tree in such form which has no beginning or no end. He is the incarnation of God for the welfare of all mankind and the Lord of all. I meditate on Bal Mukunda in my heart, who has a delicate body like a blue lotus and whose foot is worshipped by all the gods and Indra, etc. He is the wish fulfilling tree for those who take refuge in him. I meditate on that Bal Mukunda in my heart, who has hanging curls and hanging necklaces, a beautiful row of teeth which are shown playfully. His lower lip is as red as a bimba fruit and has beautiful white eyes. I meditate on that Bal Mukunda in my heart, who pretended as if he was sleeping, having eaten the yogurt to his contentment from the hanging pots of the gopis when they had gone out. I meditate on that I meditate on Bal Mukunda, whose beautiful face resembles the autumnal moon and is dancing happily on the hood of the serpent Kalia, holding its tail with his hand in the Kalinda pot. I meditate on Balmukunda with beautiful eyes like the petals of a full bloomed lotus, and who with great valor broke the pair of tall Yamala Arjuna trees, even though he was tied to a mortar, a large heavy stone pole for pounding grain. I meditate on Balmukunda, God filled with such Sat and Chit, that is, infinite consciousness of infinite divine form, the lotus eyed one who cast his looks at his mother's face with affection while drinking milk from her breast. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Krishna. Yes. So as the face of a little baby is so cute and innocent, this Bala Mukunda is so charming and alluring to the heart, attractive, all attractive. Krishna as a baby is even more attractive. So as Bilamangal Thakur is kind of having darshan of Krishna in his heart, like we said, in our heart, we can make a cradle, like a jhula for the little Mukunda to swing. And as he's so attractive and so charming, similarly, in Prabhupada Lilamrit yesterday, we were reading. Prabhupada is now traveling across India from Indore. He's traveled to Surat, right? So as the Surat of little Mukunda is so cute and adorable, similarly this Surat city is so adorable. Prabhupada says the city of devotees. All the Gujaratis have so lovingly welcomed Srila Prabhupada, so lovingly his host, and even though being one of the most influential persons there, how humble, like we were discussing yesterday, he is, that he has given the whole house to Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, and they themselves has, humbly moved to the small quarters at the top of their house. But Prabhupada says the city of devotees, Surat, because it's like a grass of it's a grass of fire, or grass, or dry grass that can catch fire quickly. So as the torch of Prabhupada and his disciples have come to Surat, the whole city has been Krishnized, so to say, right? And even the influential people like the chief minister, the state, And the name also, as when we were reading history, I was one to surprise. The name itself is Vaikunta Shastri Chandra Desai. So all demigods and Vaikuntavasis are there in Surat. So that's what Prabhupada has actually mentioned multiple times in other places also about Gujaratis being very favorable to Krishna consciousness. Like in our soul, that's why we say when our soul touches um, different aspects like a dry grass, it is easy to catch fire, versus if it lands on just on any other surface like on a road or something, it will be, there are still chances but very less chances that it will it will catch fire. And same thing if it lands in water, and there's no chance, right? So those are the modes. Those who are in modes of goodness immediately catch spiritual energy again, and those who are in mode of passion, it may be a little difficult. Those who are in mode of ignorance like water, they will never catch the spiritual spark, will never be ignited. So anyway, so that is Prabhupada now in Surat. So let's continue reading from here. He's continuing to do his morning programs at 4:30 a.m. Mangala Aarti and Srimad Bhagavatam in English for his disciples, while the rest of the programs are happening in Hindi. Okay, so we'll continue reading from here. Prabhupada's outdoor evening engagements were well attended. The city officials made one of Surat's main intersections a festival site, rerouted all traffic, and set up a stage and sound system. Thousands would gather nightly. The crowd was sometimes so large and excited that Prabhupada would have difficulty speaking above the noise. So he would hold a kirtan. In the quiet that followed, he would have one or two of his disciples speak. Then he would speak. If the audience again became noisy, he would again say, "All right, let us have kirtan." Or sometimes he would simply sit and distribute bits of crystallized sugar candy to the thousands who approached him to touch his lotus feet and take a piece of prasadam. Giriraj Maharaj. All the area around this block was completely packed with people. They were all mad after Srila Prabhupada and Krishna consciousness. Although a very big area, still people were occupying every space available, perching on rooftops, looking out windows, sitting on odd cement boulders or blocks scattered here and there. Everything about Prabhupada's program was completely satisfying to everyone. The old people liked it because there was the saintly figure of Srila Prabhupada with his young foreign disciples, and the intellectuals liked it because Srila Prabhupada was giving such sound philosophy, and the children liked it because they could run and dance and join in the kirtan. Madri Dasi. At one program, they mobbed us, so we couldn't even get out of the cars. They were so eager to see Srila Prabhupada. There were so many people. Prabhupada said, "All right, the next night will be a night for ladies only." So the next night, only ladies came. But still, it was just as packed, and Prabhupada gave a wonderful lecture. Bruce. One program was so noisy that no one stopped talking. So Prabhupada just started chanting the Brahma Samhita. That was the whole program. He just chanted the Brahma Samhita. Then he gave up and went out. Chidananda. Before going out to attend these programs, Prabhupada looked like a general getting ready to go out for battle. He would come out of his room, beautifully dressed and effulgent, ready to go out and fight Maya. There were thousands and thousands of people waiting. I didn't know what to make of it. I couldn't handle so many people, but Prabhupada was waging war on Maya. He was there to convince all these people, and the more people would come, the stronger he would get. Prabhupada preached in the outlying villages also. He would ride in a car with Mr. Jariwala, several disciples, and his Radha Krishna deities to Bardoli or Miol. The village dwellings were made of baked mud with straw roofs and cow dung walls and floors. For Prabhupada's visit, the villagers drew rice flour designs on the ground outside their houses and lined their lanes with clay pots, plantain leaves, and coconuts. Mr. N.D. Patel. The people in my village were very much impressed by the presence of Srila Prabhupada. They used to say that he has done miracles by chanting. He is a miracle saint, no doubt, people were saying. So many Western people have become devotees just by chanting the name of the Lord. The people were very much impressed by Prabhupada's practical way of bhakti. In his lecture, Srila Prabhupada created such a good impression, not only on Vaishnavas, but so many Christians, Parsis, even some Mohammedan friends started believing in Lord Krishna as the universal Godhead. With regards to all the saints, nobody has been able to spread this philosophy like this in the past. In our village, we are already Vaishnavas, of course, but we used to believe in Suryaji or Durga, Thakurji, and all these things. But after Prabhupada's explanation of what is Gita, what is Lord Krishna, we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. After Prabhupada conducted his discourse here in the village, the people were so impressed that even in his absence, They chant the Maha Mantra loudly and they greet people with the words Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. At the time of the departure, the people wished every devotee and Prabhupada with the words Hare Krishna. When there was no outside engagements, Prabhupada would sit in his room and receive visitors. To a member of parliament who came to visit, Prabhupada said that wherever he traveled, he encountered the concept of India as a beggar, backward and poverty stricken. Ambassadors from India, he said, had only reinforced that image by going to Western countries and begging, give me rice, give me money, give me alms. India, Prabhupada explained, had the greatest wealth of spiritual culture and the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada had taken this wealth to the West and given it away freely. He was not a beggar. Yamuna. During visiting hours, riding in the car, walking, standing, or sitting, Prabhupada was chanting japa all the time in Surat. His fingers were always moving within his saffron bead bag. He was always a Vaishnava, the pure devotee of Krishna, well groomed with beautiful, neat tilaka on, and his head was always in his and his hand was always in his bead bag. As he was sitting to greet people, one would be struck by his inconceivable beauty. Srila Prabhupada said, persons who give themselves to others are called magnanimous. And this was how Srila Prabhupada was during his pastimes in Surat. He was always delivering Krishna to everyone he met. He affected people's hearts by his great potency. Every morning in Srimad Bhagavatam class, Prabhupada added another installment of the Ajamil story. Sometimes he would refer to the degradation of Indian culture, citing specific examples he had seen during his India tour. Now I am very sorry to inform you that in your city I have seen two temples. They are known as Rama Mandir, but there is no Ram. This cheating is going on, and you are accepting. There is no Ram deity worship, but a man's photo is there, Sri Ram. And people are so foolish, they do not question why this is going on. In Indore, I have been in the Gita Bhavan, and so many nonsense things are there. Another place I saw Gita Samiti, and there was not a single photograph of Krishna, but a lamp is there. And this is in the name of Dharma. Last night, this boy informed me that Bhagavad Gita is going to be distributed by some Swami. But according to Bhagavad Gita, that Swami is fool number one. He is distributing Bhagavad Gita and people are accepting and paying for it. This is going on. It is a very serious situation all over the world. In the name of Dharma, religion, adharma, irreligion is going on. Just as Ajamil had become degraded, Prabhupada explained, Indian culture had also become degraded. The only hope was for people to return to the rightful position of Krishna consciousness. So, all over the world, not only in India, there cannot be peace unless you reform the whole social structure. And that can be done only by this movement, Krishna consciousness. Now, see how this man fell down. Lusty people, they don't care for society, they don't care for elderly persons. They do it in the road, in the street, on the sea beach, anywhere in the cinema. These things are going on. It is advertised also in the cinema nowadays to attract people. Formerly in India, it was not so. But they are introducing all of this nonsense to make people more lusty. To become lusty means he is going to hell. If you want to open the door to your liberation, then you should engage yourself in serving the Mahat, the pure devotees. If you want to open the door to the hellish conditions of life, then you mix with those who are too much attracted to women. He spoke of the slaughterhouse and continued to decry the public display of illicit sex. Regarding illicit sex, he said that what had been a rare incident in the time of Ajamil was now a common affair. How can young people protect themselves? They are not trained up. This Ajamil was trained up, and yet he fell down. I saw in many parks, just as Golden Gate Park, within the cars, the young boys and girls. Now here it is said that this behavior is expected of the Shudra, not from the higher castes. So just try to understand. They are thinking that they are becoming advanced, but they are not becoming advanced. They are becoming degraded. The whole world is degraded, and India is also imitating their degradation. How by degraded association one becomes himself degraded, that this story will reveal. Prabhupada had accomplished in Surat what he had intended. He had given the holy name and the people had embraced it. The people of Surat, though not prepared to alter their lives radically and live as ISKCON devotees, appreciated that Prabhupada had turned Westerners into devotees of Lord Krishna and that he was teaching the pure message of the scriptures and chanting Hare Krishna. They had responded to Prabhupada not out of a dogma or ritual, but out of an appreciation of the importance of spiritual life and a recognition that Prabhupada and ISKCON were genuine. For Prabhupada's disciples, the visit to Surat had given them a glimpse of what the world would be like if everyone was a devotee. Allahabad, January 1971. Kumbh Mela is the greatest congregation of human beings on earth. Every 12 years in Allahabad, sadhus and pilgrims from all over India gather at the Triveni, the confluence of the three holy rivers, Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati. And at an auspicious time that assures the worshipper liberation from the cycle of birth and death. As many as 15 million people enter the sacred waters. A smaller version, the Magh Mela, takes place annually during the month of Magh, December January. January of 1971, however, happened to fall halfway through the 12-year cycle from one Kumbh Mela to the next, and the Mela was known as Ardha Kumbh Mela. Millions would attend, and Srila Prabhupada decided to take advantage of the opportunity and attend the Mela with his disciples to preach. While his disciples took the train from Surat to Allahabad, Prabhupada, accompanied by Tamal Krishna, Hamsaduta, Nand Kumar and others went briefly to Bombay and then to Calcutta, where he satisfied himself that his shipment of books from Dai Nippon was safely stored at a Scindia warehouse. He also purchased 24-inch brass Radhakrishna deities to take with him to Allahabad. On January 11, he wrote, "Tomorrow morning we are going to Allahabad to attend the Ardha Kumbh Mela festival. We shall be going all 40 strong devotees, and there are an expected 7 million going by there also for the month of Magh. About 25 devotees had taken the train from Surat to Allahabad, and others, newcomers from the US and England, would soon be arriving. After a 23-hour train ride, the first group arrived. As they disembarked, they could see only fog. With the address of a brahmachari ashrama where they were to stay until they could pitch their tents at the Mela site, they started forward. The devotees knew little of what to expect as they crowded into several one-horse tangas and proceeded toward the appointed brahmachari ashram. They had heard that the Kumbh Mela was the most auspicious time to bathe at the Triveni and that the water was icy cold. In the foggy morning, they saw pilgrims along the roads, riders on camels, and guards carrying rifles. Reaching the ashram at sunrise, they could see the sacred Ganges before them. The next morning, the devotees started for the pilgrimage site, joining the stream of pilgrims funneling towards the Triveni. As they passed the Rambagh train station, a sign read, "From this point, the confluence of the holy rivers, Ganges and Yamuna, and the forts are 5 kilometers." Riding in bicycle rickshaws, the devotees merged with the moving tide of pilgrims, and soon they saw before them on what 1 week before had been an empty plain city of tents. From the small tents, big tents, and giant pandals, with flags flying, rose the dissonance of sounds, music, loudspeaker announcements in different languages, bhajans, and the hum of prayers. The devotees got down from the rickshaws, paid their drivers, and proceeded ahead, moving with the flow of the pilgrims. As they walked, the ground transformed from grass to sand to mud, and the amplified music and the dins of mantras and chants increased. The entire way was lined by beggars with leprosy, elephantiasis, and deformities. The Mela committee had given ISKCON a good location near one of the entrance gates, and a few of the experienced devotees engaged workers in setting up the tents. ISKCON's pandal was large and brightly colored, with 3 smaller tents close by, one for the men, one for the women, and one for Srila Prabhupada. A flimsy shack of corrugated tin served as a kitchen. Prabhupada was to arrive the next day, and the devotees were quickly putting down hay and rolling out daris, large carpets of coarse cotton fabric. The devotees would have to build their own fires, gather their own vegetables, wash their own clothes, and do everything for themselves, all in the middle of a cold, barren sand flat. It was a far cry from being served like princes at a life member's home. The devotees were in the midst of a great religious festival and human spectacle, and without Prabhupada, most of them were bewildered by the strange sights and sounds. Yogis sat all day in the same posture, while crowds stood watching. Trident carrying Shaivites with simple red cloth, Rudraksha beads, and matted hair sat smoking ganja. A procession of elephants, followed by 2 long files of naked sadhus, strode by. An ascetic lay on a bed of thorns. And there were still others, extreme renunciants, rarely seen by the rest of the civilization. And of course, the various Hindu sects abounded, their chants and prayers rising into the air to mingle with the morning mist and the smoke from the 10,000 campfires that clouded the sky above the city of tents. When Prabhupada arrived at the ISKCON camp the next day, the devotees were ecstatic. Eagerly, they began to tell him of bizarre sights of the Mela. One of them mentioned a guru riding on an elephant and added, "Actually, you should ride on the elephant." "No," Prabhupada replied, "I would put Radha and Krishna there." Prabhupada's presence reassured his disciples, reminding them that the spiritual life was neither exotic nor bewildering, but simple and practical. In Prabhupada's presence, the devotees' attractions to music, to mystic yoga, Vedic rituals, and material blessings and benedictions vanished. They accepted that great spiritual benefit awaited the pilgrims at the Mela. But as Prabhupada had said, to go to a holy place means to find a holy person and hear from him. A place is holy because of the presence of the saintly persons. The devotees understood, therefore, that the greatest spiritual benefit lay in hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Sitting in his tent with his disciples, Prabhupada explained the significance of Ardha Kumbh Mela. For millions of years, he said, this had been among the most sacred places in India. During the appearance of the tortoise avatar, when the demons and demigods had been churning immortal nectar, a drop of that nectar had fallen here. Since then, every 6 and 12 years, certain auspicious planets form a jug, and this jug, filled with immortal nectar, is said to pour that nectar upon the Triveni. Lord Ramachandra and Hanuman appeared here in Allahabad, and here Lord Chaitanya taught Rupa Goswami the science of devotional service. Prabhupada said he had also lived in Allahabad with his wife and family, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had initiated him at Allahabad's Rupa Goswami Gaudiya Math in 1932. As for the Melas, anyone who came and bathed at the auspicious times when the prana was pouring down from the heavens was guaranteed either promotion to the heavenly planets or liberation. John Greaser. I talked with other so called gurus and they were very impersonal. They didn't seem to care so much for persons, especially Westerners. They had a dislike, sort of a disdain, even though occasionally some of them would have a Western disciple. Prabhupada was completely different. He didn't seem so much concerned about externals, but was very concerned about a person's philosophy, his consciousness. And of course, he always tried to inject Krishna consciousness into everyone he met. Prabhupada said that although most of the saints and sadhus present were inauthentic, many were perfect yogis, some of them 300 and 400 years old. These yogis from remote parts of India would come out for the Mela and then return to seclusion. I have personally seen, he said, that they take bath in the Ganges and come up in the 7 sacred rivers. They go down in the Ganges and come up in the Godavari river. Then they go down and come up in the Krishna river and go down like that. The devotees therefore should respect everyone who attended the Mela. So actually it's true, one of the devotees inquired, that just by bathing here they are all liberated? Yes, Prabhupada said, it is true. They come here for liberation. But we have not come for liberation. We have come to preach. Being engaged in Krishna's unalloyed devotional service, we are already liberated. We are not interested in liberation. We have come to preach devotional service. When Prabhupada rose early the next morning, the temperature was near freezing. His tent had no heat. He walked to the pandal to lead the kirtan at Mangalarti, and as he sat on his Vyasasan, a disciple handed him his quilt, which he wrapped around himself. To rise and bathe in such cold was difficult for most of the devotees. A few went to the Ganges, others bathed at the nearby pump, and some refused to get up at all. Giriraj Maharaj. The program was very rigorous because it was bitterly cold at night and we were expected to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and bathe and attend Mangalarti. So a few staunch devotees like Tamal Krishna and Hamsadutta got up early by 3 or 3:30 and walked all the way from our camp to the Ganges to take an early morning bath. But those of us staying in the Brahmachari tent were not so staunch. And generally, when it was time to get up at 4 o'clock, it was so cold out that we preferred to remain in our sleeping bags. Srila Prabhupada also started to notice that some of us were coming late to Mangalarti and that some of us were not coming at all. Prabhupada became very upset about this because he knew how important Mangalarti was for us. So one morning, although he was a little frail in health, he got up at 4 o'clock and came out in his gamcha, sat down under the pump, and took that ice cold bath early in the morning just to encourage us to get up, bathe, and come to Mangalarti. That had a very profound effect on all of us, and we felt so ashamed that we couldn't sleep late anymore. After Kirtan, Prabhupada lectured on Srimad Bhagavatam, resuming the story of Ajamil. This particular story, with its glorification of the Lord's holy name, seemed especially relevant. The holy name was so powerful that by chanting only once, Ajamil had been saved. Chanting, therefore, was far more beneficial than the prana coming down from the constellations. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll pause here. Yes, again and again we see this theme, so much of learning, right? So much of this is like again that concentrated sadhana that we've been talking about. It's just reading this Prabhupada Lilamrid, just few paragraphs over this past few days. It's so concentrated, devotional mood. Everything that all these early disciples are learning from Srila Prabhupada is just something like life lessons for them. Here, like Giriraj Maharaj is reflecting. Prabhupada is teaching again as an acharya by his own example, coming out at 4 o'clock, bathing under the pump in cold water, and how he inspired all of his disciples to follow him. Again, he was not just giving instructions, but leading by showing them with example how to do it himself. And yesterday also when we were reading, Prabhupada gave that example of that old lady widow in Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, how she would wake up before everybody woke up. She would walk all the way to the Yamuna, take bath early morning, and then come for the Mangalarti, and she would come with a pot of water for the deities to be bathed. right? And then she will actually come and she will wake the pujari. And the pujari will also be asleep at Prabhupada. Since he will awake in the morning, he will open the doors. And he said, just by that one simple act, some simple seva that she was doing, bringing the water for the deities every single morning without fail, even though it was cold, icy cold in Vrindavan, that will make sure that she goes back to Godhead, right? So that is how simple and practical bhakti is. You don't have to do any fancy. You don't have to. It's not about memorizing shlokas. It's not about doing katha. It's not about doing hundreds of different services, out of pride, or it is just simple things that we do is what attracts the all attractive Lord. And yeah, these simple things. And yesterday Prabhupada also said, waking in the morning, coming for Mangala Aarti is the most important thing, which signifies how much we value spiritual life. So that theme is kind of being shown again and again. And yeah, when you go to spiritual holy places, it's not about just going there to visit the dham or to get liberated. Like Prabhupada is saying, when we chant holy name, we are already liberated. Already everything is, all inauspiciousness and contamination is already eradicated. But we have a tendency to commit sins again. We commit aparads again. So that is why we are in the cycle. But usually, if we chant offenselessly, just make sure that we are chanting offenselessly, taking association of Mahabhagavats, even either physically or through following their instructions like this, like reading Srila Prabhupada's books. That will be sufficient for us to go back home. Okay, yeah, wonderful. A lot of practical things that are being discussed here. So, any other thoughts, comments from anybody? Anything that you liked, anything that touched your hearts that you'd like to share?
Prabhuji, Hare
Please.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for reading. It was such an inspirational, and each and every day whenever we read about Prabhupada how devoted he was, how consistent he was about preaching, and how simply he showed us the simple ways of being a spiritual consciousness of conscious to Krishna is really overwhelming. No matter, I mean, the readings were very wonderful, and the way he depicted the whole Kumbh Mela and the sceneries that were there that were just portraying in front of our eyes is really overwhelming. Thank you, Prabhuji, for taking time and for being so consistent when you are reading. It's really wonderful. It's really inspirational, and we can easily connect whenever you are reading. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you to Prabhupada's disciples, Saswarup Das Maharaj, Saswarup Goswami Maharaj, who wrote this, compiled this. It is because of his mercy and mercy of all Prabhupada's disciples that we have all these things captured. So thank you also to our similar devotees at Cincinnati, like Kalyan Prabhu, Ranjan Prabhu. So meticulously they record everything, right? All our programs, which is transmitted live on YouTube, Facebook, which is available and is going to be available for centuries now, right? So again, all these disciples who do these kind of seva, which goes unnoticed, right? All these things that they had documented back ago, and now we are able to read all this after 50 years. So thank you, all glories to them. We are just using our tongue in vibrating and reading this, but all glories to them, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I was just reflecting on the thing that how Prabhupada was so different than everybody else at the Kumbh Mela. There were a lot of gurus, but which were not very authentic. That's what Prabhupada said. And those who were the real yogis, they were so inapproachable to the general masses. And Prabhupada, on the other hand, was pure and so much approachable. And his mood was, just to preach. He said, we are not behind liberation. So he was very, very different, very outstanding at Kumbh Mela. And also the devotees, the staunch devotees and the dilute devotees was also mentioned here in this reading today. So, we should also focus to be, like how Giraswami Maharaj, His Holiness Giraswami Maharaj, and His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was mentioned. It is very, very enlightening to hear about them, their close connection with Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu, that was my takeaway. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Yeah. It's also a very auspicious day today for us, for me and for Meenakshi Moini. It's also our Guru Maharaj's appearance day. So it always comes on the day, on the Ekadasi after Janmashtami. And His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he used to say, especially he used to reflect about this Allahabad and Kumbh Mela. He would say that once when they traveled with Prabhupada, they had like this Mauni Baba who had not spoken for many years, and the people were crowding his pandal to take darshan and everything. And then when Prabhupada used to say, what is the point of just not speaking for 14 years when God has given us this tongue? This tongue should be vibrated to chant the holy name, to preach Lord's message of pure devotional service, pure bhakti. If that is not being done, all this so-called austerity is of no use. So, but yeah, again, taking example or taking inspiration from Srila Prabhupada, all of these disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they have been continuing. Even today, ISKCON does so much of, like the less recent Kumbh Mela that happened, ISKCON distributed so much of prasadam. That's again, the mood is to go out to preach, to bring people closer to Krishna, give them true flavor of bhakti. So that is the mood. It's not that ISKCON goes out there to just do prasadam distribution, but it's really to preach the pure message of Lord Shri Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. And even today it happens that, disciples and devotees are going out, and all of our current Guru Vrinda, they go to Prayag, they go to Allahabad to the Kumbh Mela to preach. So now we see that earlier I used to wonder why they go to Kumbh, but now I realize, okay, because Srila Prabhupada did it, so they are just following in Prabhupada's footsteps. So that's how we see how dedicated and how sincere they were to Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Whatever he did, like we see, they have been observing carefully what he's doing, how he's eating, how he's talking, right? And we can see the same mood in all of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada today. Because now when we read what Prabhupada used to do, and when we actually see, because we have seen Prabhupada's disciples with our eyes, and how they act, what their demeanor is, now we can relate back to, okay, where this is all coming from. So it's all coming from Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much for that comment. Anybody else would like to share anything? All right, thank you for your kind association. Wishing everybody a very, very auspicious, very happy and spiritually enlightening and potent Annada Ekadasi. Hope everybody has a wonderful, blissful day of fasting. Again, the idea is not just to fast, but to get us closer to Krishna by chanting, by reading, by doing more devotional services through following the process of Navada Bhakti, as Prahlad Maharaj said. So if you follow that, then our Ekadashi will be auspicious and wonderful. Okay, so we'll end with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavandi ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Have a good day.